Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Yeah.
For those tuning in for the first time, this is actually our fourth deep dive into the work of Paolo Maria Pavan.
Oh, yeah, from Xtroverso.com?
Exactly, founder of Xtroverso.com. And, we keep coming back because his blog posts every week, they're like a masterclass.
Yeah, in rethinking, like, how we work.
Yeah, especially for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And those who want to be entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. And I think it's great that we're doing this series. It's, it's dense material sometimes.
Yeah, every week I think I have Paolo figured out. And then a new post drops, and I'm like, wait.
Yeah. What? Right.
Back to square one.
That's why I'm here, right.
Exactly, to help us unpack it all. So this week, Paolo, he really got me thinking, especially as, someone who falls squarely into Gen X.
Yeah, sure.
He was talking about how Gen X is kind of at this crossroads, facing burnout, disillusionment with this whole work hard, climb the ladder mentality.
Yeah. And he doesn't hold back, does he? He's basically saying the ladder's broken, like the rules of the game have changed, and the old way of doing things just doesn't guarantee the same stability or reward anymore.
Yeah, he even uses the word rigged at one point.
Oh, wow.
And, I have to admit, it resonated with me.
Sure.
So many of us in Gen X, we hit this wall, we feel like we did everything right.
Right.
But that payoff just isn't there.
It's like we're clinging to this old map, right? But it doesn't lead to the treasure anymore. But this is where it gets interesting, I think, because Paolo doesn't just complain about it. He points to Gen Y and Z.
Yeah.
Like they figured something out, right?
He almost seems in awe of their fearlessness.
Yeah, totally.
Like they're just launching businesses, creating their own paths, not waiting for permission.
Not waiting for the corner office.
And it's not just blind optimism, right?
Right.
They seem to inherently understand that the old systems just aren't working.
Yeah, they're building new ones. I think Paolo's point is that Gen X needs to become less about control and more about mentorship, empowering this next generation.
Right.
Not trying to fit them into our outdated molds.
Yeah, it makes me think about how Paolo handled the collapse of his own company.
Oh, right. New Sticks.
New Stick, yeah. That could have been just a crushing blow.
Totally.
But he chose to see it not as a failure, but as a learning experience.
And that's a big takeaway for any entrepreneur. Honestly, anyone facing setbacks.
Yeah.
His point isn't to avoid responsibility. It's about reframing it. Not as blame, but as the ability to respond, to choose your response.
It's about asking, okay, what did I learn?
How do I move forward? Yeah, exactly.
It's that agency
Yeah.
that he finds so empowering.
It's about taking control, but not in the traditional sense,
Right.
It's about recognizing that even when things are tough, we still have the power to shape our own outcomes through our choices.
So this is where things get really interesting for me.
Oh, okay.
Paolo starts talking about own interest understanding.
Own interest understanding.
Okay. Which at first sounds like a good thing.
Yeah, taking ownership of your goals.
Your motivations. But he dives into these potential pitfalls, saying that sometimes it can actually be a sneaky form of conforming to the system.
So you're willing to challenge the system, but only up to the point where it benefits you personally.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
He gives this example of people they rage against the machine.
Right.
Until they get a comfy seat on that machine.
Yeah.
Then they stop rocking the boat.
Oh, I get it. So it's not true autonomy.
Right.
It's just playing the game to your advantage.
And that's where self-awareness comes in, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to fool ourselves into thinking we're being rebellious when we're actually just playing a slightly different version of the same game.
He's urging us to dig deep. Really ask ourselves, am I following my own compass? Or am I just chasing the next shiny object?
And that takes honesty.
Yeah.
Maybe even some bravery.
Totally.
To confront those, deeper motivations.
Absolutely. To be willing to question those, comfortable narratives we tell ourselves,
Yeah, because sometimes those are exactly what's keeping us stuck.
Absolutely.
And this is where Paolo's fascination with language comes in.
Yeah.
He gets some flack for being too focused on semantics.
Right.
But I actually think he's onto something.
Oh, totally.
He's not just playing with words, right?
Right.
He's highlighting how the language we use actually shapes our reality.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah.
We inherit all these prepackaged definitions of success, failure, freedom, exactly.
Yeah.
But what if those definitions are actually, what if they're limiting us?
And that's what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Redefining those terms in a way that's like more empowering.
Totally.
His whole take on failure, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant.
He doesn't see failure as the opposite of success.
Right.
He sees it as a stepping stone, a necessary part of the journey.
Right.
And just by shifting the language,
Yeah.
he changes the whole emotional experience.
It's like instead of beating yourself up over a setback,
Right.
you're asking, okay, what did I learn? How did this make me stronger?
Yeah.
What's the next move?
Exactly. And that actually reminds me of something else Paolo talks about.
Okay.
Very candidly, his struggle with alcohol.
Oh, wow.
He was drinking a bottle of gin a day,
I know.
which is like pretty shocking considering how successful he is now.
You know, I have to admit, when I first read that,
Yeah,
it made me feel, I don't know, like a little less alone
sure.
in my own struggles, you know?
Yeah.
It's so easy to buy into this myth
Hmm.
of the, like, perfect entrepreneur.
The perfect entrepreneur.
But here's Paolo, incredibly driven, successful guy,
Yeah.
admitting that he was, like, battling his own demons.
It humanizes him.
Yeah.
Right.
Right,
It
so
makes
he-
his message even more powerful
Yeah.
because he's not just,
Yeah.
preaching from some ivory tower.
Right. He's been in the trenches.
He's been in the trenches, yeah.
And what I found really interesting was, like, how he quit drinking.
Oh, yeah. Tell
No,
me.
like, gradual tapering off.
Yeah.
No fancy rehab program.
Uh-huh.
He just decided one day to stop cold turkey,
Wow.
which, again, ties back into his whole philosophy
Right.
of taking radical responsibility
Side.
for your choices.
No excuses, no blaming
Yeah.
external factors.
He decided he wanted a different life,
Yep.
and he took action.
Powerful, powerful stuff.
And that resonates so deeply with,
Yeah,
like, the entrepreneurial spirit.
I agree.
It's that willingness to make a bold decision,
Hmm.
even when it's scary.
Right, even when everyone else thinks you're crazy.
Right, exactly. Because sometimes the things we think we need,
Uh-huh.
that drink, that comfortable job,
Yeah.
that familiar way of thinking,
Right.
those are actually the things that are holding us back
Holding us back.
from our true potential.
From our true potential, yeah.
It's about having the courage to, like, clear the way
Mm.
for something new to emerge.
Yeah, something bigger.
Something bigger.
Something more aligned with who we really are.
And that brings us to one of Paolo's most intriguing concepts.
Okay, what's that?
The distinction between being a freelancer
Right.
and what he calls a freelance.
Oh, freelance.
Freelance.
Interesting.
I'll admit, when I first saw that, I was like, is that a typo?
Yeah, right.
But he's actually making
Yeah.
a really powerful distinction.
Okay, I'm curious.
He's saying that a lot of freelancers
Mm-hmm.
are still operating within a system
Yeah.
that ultimately limits them.
Okay.
They're trading their time for money, just like in a traditional job.
Right, but without the same security.
Right, exactly.
Without the benefit.
Without the benefits.
Yeah.
So it's like they're playing by someone else's rules,
Uh-huh.
even though they call themselves independent.
Right, I see. Yeah.
Whereas a freelance,
Freelance.
as Paolo defines it,
Yeah?
creates their own system.
Ah, okay.
They set their own rates,
Mhm.
define their own terms,
Mhm.
and build a business that truly reflects
Yeah.
their values and their vision.
So they're not just like selling services.
Right.
They're crafting something unique.
It's like moving from a scarcity mindset
Right.
where you're competing for scraps
Yeah.
within an existing system
Yep.
to an abundance mindset
Abundance.
where you're creating your own pie.
I like that.
And that shift, I think, is crucial for any entrepreneur
Oh, absolutely.
who wants to thrive in this
Yeah.
new world of work.
This new world of work, it's a whole different ball game.
It is.
You got to create your own rules.
It's about moving from reaction to creation,
Ooh, I like that.
from being a cog in someone else's machine
Right.
to building your own damn machine.
There you go. Building your own machine.
And that's what I find so exciting about Paolo's work.
I agree.
He's not just giving us advice,
Mhm.
he's giving us a framework for thinking differently,
Yes.
for challenging the assumptions that limit us,
Totally.
and for ultimately
Yeah.
crafting a career and a life that is truly our own.
That is truly our own. I love that.
It feels like Paolo's giving us permission, you know,
Like,
to break free from those old limitations.
yeah.
And to, like, stake into our full potential.
Totally. And he's not just, talking the talk. He walks the walk.
Right, exactly.
He built a business that aligns with his values. He quit drinking when it no longer served him.
Well, turkey on a bottle of gin a day.
Bottle of gin a day. And he uses his platform to inspire others to do the same.
And that's what makes his message so compelling, I think.
Totally. He's not just preaching from like a position of authority.
Right.
He's sharing his own struggles, his own failures, his own triumphs.
Yeah.
And it makes him incredibly relatable, even for those of us who haven't reached his level of success.
Right.
He's saying it's possible, and he's giving us the tools to start making those changes ourselves.
Exactly. He's not saying it's easy.
Right.
But he's saying it's possible.
Totally.
And he provides a framework for thinking, for questioning, and for ultimately taking ownership of our journey.
It's not about following a set of rules or strategies.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating like a mindset that allows us to navigate this ever-changing landscape with clarity, purpose, and resilience.
It's about recognizing that the power to shape our reality lies not in trying to control external circumstances, but in like mastering our own
internal world.
Internal world. Yeah, and that brings us back to this idea of the freelance.
Oh, yeah.
That Paolo talks about.
Yeah, freelance.
Yeah, this concept really resonated with me.
Yeah, me too. Tell me more.
It's not just about being a freelancer in like the traditional sense.
Right.
It's about taking that spirit of independence and applying it to every aspect of your life.
So creating your own system,
setting
your own rules,
defining success on your own terms,
not letting the market dictate your worth.
Exactly. Paolo seems to be advocating for this shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
Okay.
From competing for scraps within a pre-existing system to creating something entirely new.
Yeah, something that only you can offer.
Something that only you can offer. Yeah.
I love that.
And when you're creating something truly unique, you're no longer competing.
Right.
You're innovating.
You're carving out your own space in the world and attracting those people who resonate with your vision.
It's about moving from a reactive mode
to a creative mode. It's about recognizing those limitations we perceive are often self-imposed. It's about breaking free from those limiting beliefs.
Yeah, and daring to create.
Exactly.
Something new.
That reflects your talents, your passions, your values.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Paolo's writing, I'm left with this sense of excitement and possibility.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like he's given us this glimpse
into like a different way of being.
Into a different way of being, a way of working, a way of living.
Totally.
That's more aligned with our true selves.
More aligned with our true selves. I love that.
And while he doesn't, offer any easy answers or quick fixes, he provides a framework for thinking, for questioning, and for ultimately taking ownership of our journey.
He's encouraging us to become like the architects of our own lives.
Yeah.
Not just the passive inhabitants.
Exactly.
Of a world designed by others.
So for all of you entrepreneurs, aspiring change makers out there,
I'll leave you with this.
Yeah. How can you take ownership of your journey?
How can you redefine success on your own terms?
How can you build a machine that reflects your unique vision?
Think about it, explore it. Most importantly, start building.
And be sure to check out Xtroverso.com
for more of Paolo's insights.
Until next time, happy diving.
Happy diving!